Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to the Āliamanu-Salt Lake Foster Village Airport Neighborhood Board 18. Time is 6:30, and before we start our meeting, we will have the singing of the national anthem, but before that, we'll have some honor guards coming in and posting. But before we do that, I want to introduce the honor guards. Specialist Āliamanu Orr, Sergeant Jordan Shepard, Private First Class Jay Mesa, Sergeant Isela Holcomb, and the NCO in charge, Sergeant Michael Reinhardt. I hope I got all of that right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's please stand for the arrival of the national colors. Post. Singing the national anthem this evening will be Sergeant Anna Rodriguez.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming in the rocket's red glare, the bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free?
Please remain standing. At this time, we'll call up Colonel Jim Sullivan, and he will be introducing the Scouting of America Troop 24 out of Schofield Barracks. And Colonel, can you please introduce each member before they start?
Evening, and my name is Jim Sullivan. I'm a adult leader at Troop 24. We are a Scouting America troop out of Schofield Barracks. First, I want to thank the board and Chairman Yomes for having us recite the Pledge of Allegiance before the meeting. But before we do that, as the chair said, I'd definitely like to get the scouts to introduce themselves before we start the pledge.
My name is Shane. I am 6th grade. I'm homeschooled.
Christopher, I am a life rank, and I am also homeschooled.
My name is Zachary. I'm a second class scout. I'm in 8th grade and I go to Mary Star of the Sea School.
My name is Landon. I am a Life Scout rank. I am in 8th grade
and I go to WMS.
My name is Marilyn. I'm second class. I'm in 6th grade and I go to HGA.
Hello, my name is Olivia. I'm a second class. I'm in 6th grade, and I go to Mary Star of the Sea.
I'm Savannah. I'm second class. I'm in 6th grade, and I go to Wheeler Middle School.
My name is Nixon Graham. I'm a tenderfoot, and I'm a sophomore at Leilehua High School.
Perfect. Scouts, thank you. Scouts, can I have you about face and turn and face the camera? Okay. And then Christopher, go ahead and let's start us off.
Please remain standing as our honor guards post out, and our scouts, thank you so much for all of you for attending. Post. Please be seated. The Declaration of Independence was adopted and signed on July 4th, 1776, and is a foundational document of American democracy. This was the American colony's permanent separation from British rule, and it laid the foundation for the United States as a nation. 250 years later, July 4th, 2026, we celebrate the United States of America, the most powerful country in the world. 2026 will be full of celebrations to mark this historic milestone. This will give every American an opportunity to pause and reflect on our nation's past, honor the contributions of all Americans, past and present, and creating our future for the next generation and beyond. With that said, Neighborhood Board 18 will do our part in celebrating America's 250 years. At each meeting this year, starting with the Army tonight, we will honor and celebrate America by thanking the United States Military Armed Forces, first responders, doctors, nurses, and all Americans who have helped shape this beautiful country that we live in. So in 2026, every month that we have a meeting, we will honor a different agency or persons. Please focus your attention at this time as we honor the Army of the United States Army and their soldiers.
March along, sing a song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off and cadence loud and strong. So wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
250 years ago, America was just an idea. But the U.S. Army made it real. Battle by battle, brick by brick,
We're going to get this cleaned up for you.
generation by generation. It began as a band of neighbors picking up arms to fight injustice, but it has evolved into the most feared fighting force in the history of mankind. The uniforms may have changed, and the tools have transformed, but the heart remains the same. Why we fight and why we stand together does not change.
Your mission starts now. Quitting is not in my vocabulary.
The United States Army is the heartbeat of our free country. It's about loyalty. It's about duty and respect.
I will lead by example.
It is selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. Tonight, we celebrate the Army's 250 years of service. This is your Army, and these are your soldiers.
From the heartbeat of freedom, a thunder is born. A force that reshaped history, battle-tested, never torn. From steel cities to endless skies, one power stands tall. The United States military, answering destiny's call. When the world goes silent, you hear the engines roar. When chaos rises, America steps to the door. This is not just an army, not just force or flame. This is a global symbol carved in honor and name. Forged in fire, built by will. Every soldier trained to stand unbroken still. From day one, discipline is carved in bone. From boot camp dust to a warrior's throne. Boots hit ground with a unified sound. The rhythm of power that shakes the ground. Eyes forward, back straight, minds locked in war. This not a unit's army, ready to endure more. Force it not luck, it's earned through pain. Through endless drills, through sweat and rain. Every march, every mile, every scar. Been the strongest fighting force by far. When freedom trembles, when danger appears. When our eyes look up through smoke and fear. One day echoes across the land. United States military ready to stand. When freedom trembles, when danger appears. When our eyes look up through smoke and fear. One day echoes across the land. United States military ready to stand. USA military and power. Forged discipline, sharpened by hour. Red, white, blue, written in steel. A force so strong the whole world feels. USA military, arming and might. Owning the battlefield day and night. From earth to orbit, city top sky. No force alive can deny. Yeah! Tanks rolling heavy like moving walls. Abrams thunder as the battlefield falls. Armor so strong, fire so precise. Every strike measured cold as ice. Infantry moves with lethal grace. Urban warfare, desert space.
Service to our country. Special shout out to Army Colonels Rachel Sullivan and James Sullivan. Also, Lieutenant Colonel Joel Perry, who assisted in helping with this program to start our meeting, and to the tribute to America's 250th anniversary. Thank you. Thank you, Army. Army and the Scouts, before you leave, there's some cake, and you guys can take it out there, and then we'll start our meeting. Thank you so much for coming and celebrating the United States of America. Yes.
Scouts are actually going to stay. All of the scouts that are here with us this evening are working on their communications merit badge, which includes a requirement to attend a community meeting and listen to the different viewpoints that are being presented by members of the community. So thank you very much to all of you for letting tonight and letting this community meeting be a part of their learning process and becoming better citizens and better Americans. Mahalo.
Thank you. And I invite the scouts to our, every meeting that we have. Next month, we'll be honoring the Navy. If the scouts want to continue the 10 months that we have our meeting this year, we would appreciate it. And will I get in trouble if they eat cake first and then want to listen to our meeting? Our two board members that's been assigned to, they can start passing out the cakes to the audience. And Madam Secretary, let's start our meeting. Oh. Yeah, Madam Secretary, can you have the roll call, please?
Thank you, Chair. All right, starting from the top. Joseph Omura. Clarence Davis III. Douglas Fujikura. James Gower is at work, so Faye Johnson. Nancy Valdez. David Yomes. And Chandra Kanimaru. So we have quorum established with 7 members present.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Let's start our meeting with the Honolulu Fire Department.
Hi, good evening. I'm Adam Rose from the Moanalua Fire Station, Engine 30. We are presenting the statistics for the month of December 2025. This includes Moanalua Fire Station as well as the Mokulele Fire Station across the street. During the month of December, we responded to 1 cooking fire, 5 activated alarms, 62 medical emergencies, 1 motor vehicle collision, and 1 hazardous materials incident. The fire safety tip for the month of January is electrical safety in the home. So the fire department would like to remind you to plug 1 heat-producing appliance into a wall receptacle outlet at a time. That includes coffee makers, toasters, etc. Major appliances such as refrigerators, dryers, and stoves should be plugged directly into the wall receptacle, and extension cords and power strips should not be used. Check electrical cords to ensure that they are not running across doorways or under carpets, and extension cords are not intended for permanent use. Have a licensed electrician install receptacle outlets to eliminate the use of extension cords. Ensuring electrical work is performed by a licensed electrician. Are there any questions from the board or the community?
Board, any questions for the fire department? Mr. O'Moore.
Yeah, I guess, do you guys have the information out over the New Year's week, from Christmas to New Year's, or we wait till next month?
That I'm assuming will come next month. We don't have that information, but I can request it as far as what number of calls or along those lines.
Basically about if there were any fires or firework related fires, that kind of thing.
Any other questions for the fire department board? Audience, you have any questions for the Honolulu Fire Department? Thank you, sir.
Before I go, I'd like to just acknowledge one person. Firefighter 3 Paul Otto. He has served his 19 years, his career in the Moanalua Fire Station, and through his hard work and dedication, he's going to be promoted to captain. So this is his last neighborhood board for the time being. So just congratulations to him. Yeah. Wherever he ends up, they'll be better off having him, and we'll do our best to continue his legacy here.
Thank you. Honolulu Police Department, Foster Village, District 3.
Aloha. My name is Keone Hong. I'm a lieutenant with the Honolulu Police Department working out of District 3, Pearl City. Regarding the stats, since there was a break last month, I'll go over November and December. Motor vehicle thefts for November, there was 1. Burglaries, there was also 1. And thefts and car break-ins, there was 0. for this area. Also in December, for motor vehicle thefts, burglaries, and thefts, as well as car break-ins, there were no reported cases. Calls for service for November was 277 versus December 272. Regarding fireworks calls, there was a noticeable decrease from last year. So we ran the statistics from November 1st, 2025 to December 31st, and there were 8 calls for fireworks related nuisance in this area. Compared to the same time frame in 2024, there were 39. District 3 as a whole, for 2025, there were 160 calls for fireworks nuisance between that same time period, and in 2024, there were 393. So 393 compared to 160. For fireworks related injuries or damage, there are none reported in this area. Any questions? I can answer them.
Board, any questions for the police department in Foster Village City Station? Audience, any questions? Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
Honolulu Police Department, Kalihi Station, Salt Lake, Āliamanu.
Evening. I'm Sergeant Canberra. This is Lieutenant Yamashita. Work out of Kalihi, District 5. Stats for December would be aggravated assault, we have 0. Auto thefts, we have 2. Burglary, we have 2. Robberies, we have 0. Sex assaults, we have 2. Simple assaults, we have 3. Thefts, we have 9. And UMVs, we have 2. Total calls for service would be 510.
Yamashita with District 5 also. We also noticed a decrease in fireworks. Also, we had 9 calls for service within your area for the fireworks. The 2 sex assaults that he did report were, one was involving a juvenile in a gathering at Thanksgiving with family members. The case was withdrawn. The second one was involving an Uber driver picking up a ride share, dropping him off while exiting the vehicle. She helped him out. Felt like she was inappropriately touched. The male is still outstanding at this time. The case is forwarded to our sex crimes detail. It's an elderly male, approximately in his 60s, walks with a cane, so still outstanding at this time. And the detective has reached out to the complainant, just hasn't got any response back yet. Other than that, we have nothing else to report. Have any questions?
In Salt Lake, Āliamanu. Mr. Omura.
What are the I guess last year we're talking about, the fireworks stuff because of what happened, and I brought up the question
Mr.
about
Omura, can you wait? We're going to cover fireworks right after we're done. So can you hold that question, please?
for them.
Yes. Lieutenant, the 2 lieutenants and the sergeant, can you guys stay about 5 more minutes? We're going to cover fireworks and see if you might have to answer some of these questions, or you can take it back to your command. Any other questions that's not fireworks related, board? Mr. Omura.
Actually, this wasn't only just fireworks, but it pertained to the drones usage. We talked last year about that, and you folks are saying that you couldn't use the drones because of constitutional issues. I was wondering did you guys use it? Are you guys planning to use it this year? Like, there's been a lot of complaints about speeding cars making noise late at night, people blasting their stereos at 2 a.m. in the morning, and my neighbors are like, they get pretty upset because it's like a continuous thing, and they call you guys, but by the time you get there, right, it doesn't make sense to, for you guys even to come because they're, their history by the time you get there. But it's, it upsets the people living around my area where I live. So the only solution we could think of is drones. So is it constitutional to use the drones this year, or do I need to ask the city that question? City state.
That's going to be a question for the city state, but they did use it for this past New Year's Eve for the fireworks, and it's still evolving. I think that is the future.
Any other questions from the board? Audience, any questions for the Honolulu Police Department, the Salt Lake, Āliamanu area? Lieutenant Sergeant, thank you. If you guys just stay a couple of minutes and we'll cover the fireworks and you guys will be out of here. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is fireworks. Anybody has any concerns and opinions that they had, especially on New Year's Eve? Let's start with Board Member Omura.
Okay. As far as the fireworks is concerned, my concern was, I was kind of working that night. I didn't get home till like about 12:15, but my sister and the neighbors were saying that normally I live in Tropicana area by Salt Lake Shopping Center, and it's always been quiet, quiet, quiet. But this year was a first in a long time where it got noisy. And so when I got home about 12:15 or so, there was some kind of huge fireworks exhibition right by the park, around right where I live area. Like some guys is doing fireworks displays like aerials and stuff. And I went shopping to Salt Lake, shopping center, Safeway, and then I came out and I saw the like a little aerial display going on in the housing area in the, almost by the Āliamanu-Salt Lake boundary. And then I seen like two police cars come ripping down that side. So I was just kind of wondering on that. Because like I said, I missed all the main fireworks shows, but from what I heard, it's a little bit more than what it was in the past.
Were there any questions or concerns that you guys have regarding the fireworks on New Year's Eve? Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So one of the questions, and I just thought about my questions for the police department, either for Kalihi or in the Honolulu district. Is there a way, maybe towards like the end of the year, where we can get a consensus of those who are pretty much registering for permits to do fireworks, and then those are being captured during the year, like a statistics or a number of how many of those are being, detained for using improper fireworks or the illegal fireworks. Just like towards the end of the year, I know we can't catch it all the time, like for 4th of July or whatnot, but if it's statistics that it shows like, hey, this is the decrease of those of illegal use of fireworks within in the area, and then those who showing actually are going out to get those permits and doing the right thing on there, and that would be kind of good for like the community to see like, hey, we're reaching towards that goal of doing like the right thing instead of actually going and doing the illegal way with the fireworks during those events.
Any other comments? Audience, anybody have any concerns or comments that you want to make regarding New Year's Eve, the fireworks? I have a few comments. First of all, let me get the good stuff out of the way. I'd like to thank the governor, the mayor, the fire, the police, state law enforcement, EMS, hospitals, and our politicians for their TV ads and strong messaging to the community regarding illegal fireworks the last 2 weeks. I'm sure the messaging worked for some. The media have done an outstanding job covering the fireworks, especially the Āliamanu fireworks explosion. I want to do a special shout out to Civil Beat's investigative reporter, Christina Jedra, who on December 29th submitted a lengthy and detailed report regarding the Āliamanu tragedy. It was titled, "A Fireworks Explosion Shattered Their Lives. Will Hawaii Learn from It?" This is a must read for everyone, especially those who are doing these illegal fireworks and how this horrific tragedy came about. The reporter covers from the beginning of New Year's Eve to the very end. She covers the hospital part of it. She covers the interviews at the Arizona hospital, and she covers people that was personally involved in this tragedy. So it's a must read for everybody. You can go back online, and it's just like you're reading an interesting novel, and you just can't stop reading it. She did an excellent job. And again, like I said, the rest of the media did an excellent job putting out the word that the state and city, they were going to enforce fireworks, and they had new laws in place. What I didn't like, since I was the chair of this Salt Lake Āliamanu board, I decided on New Year's Eve to give up my New Year's Eve and observe what was happening in Salt Lake and Āliamanu. I was kind of disappointed in some of the people in our area that selfishly lit aerial fireworks after all of these laws were passed And it wasn't as much as last year, so it was a big improvement. That I'm happy with. But still, we need to get these bad apples that continue to violate the law. And hopefully we can get stronger enforcement at the docks that are bringing in all of these illegal fireworks. They've arrested some people, but this needs to continue throughout the year because these people bring in the fireworks in the beginning of this year for next year. So hopefully we can get more enforcement regarding that. My concern was that at one point on New Year's Eve, I was upset that these aerials are going off. So I decided to call 911. To my dismay, nobody answered. So I was concerned about that. And so I hung up. About a minute later, the police dispatchers called me back via voice thing. He says, was this a misdial or is this an actual call for 911? So I pressed, I believe, number 2, that I wanted to report something and it wasn't a missed call. So dispatcher came on the phone and I told him I wanted to report some fireworks violations that I saw in Āliamanu and I wanted to be the complainant. So said, you stand by, you probably get about a 13-minute wait. So I waited, and waited about 10 minutes. I was so frustrated, so I just hung up again. Couldn't get in touch with that. So on the police side, we need to, Acting Chief Vanek needs to get the community involved and see how we can solve that particular problem. And I'll get back to that in a second. Secondly, I went to Plan B, which was to call the State Law Enforcement Division, who had a hotline to address fireworks. So I called the number that I saw on KHON that told the public that they can report illegal fireworks at this phone number. I called that number 3 times and I got no answer. I got a recording that said the mailbox is full. There is not enough space to leave a message. So that tells me nobody was actually going live and answering the actual phone call. So that's another concern that I have with the state and the police department. We need to, the police department and the state, they need to collaborate with the community. The community needs to get involved. They have to be the eyes and ears of enforcement for these agencies. And I know you don't want to turn in your neighbor or whatever. You can do it anonymously, but my thing is with that state phone call and 911 so backlogged, and I'm not blaming the police dispatchers because they work so hard and they shorthanded. My thing is we got to get a better system. And I kind of thought out of the box. Why couldn't we get 30 volunteers? I would be the first one to volunteer, that we answer these 911 fireworks related calls. And they go to, just like we're having a telethon where you can call in and donate money, where we'll get all the calls for fireworks. We can take it away from 911 system so they don't get overloaded. They can do the other calls that come in. And we jot down, or the volunteers, you have 30 different lines, and you have the volunteers answering the phone, and we turn it over to the police so they can dispatch. And Acting Chief Vanek, he needs to get a group outside of patrol because patrol is shorthanded. Yes, I know that Chief Vanek said that he filled out all the beats. I commend that. All the beats were full on New Year's Eve. But we need to get other officers involved. We need to make fireworks detail and start getting other officers involved and with the state as well. They work as one. And then if we have this type of telethon system, we can dispatch these fireworks officers, state and city officers, to these locations and try to get enforcement-related arrests or citations. I think this would help the police dispatch and the state as well with this anonymous hotline. So we got to start thinking about the box, and the state police, the law enforcement, sheriffs, the Honolulu Police Department, they need to get the community involved, and we need to think about this now and try to get this settled before New Year's Eve comes around. Because there's ways that we can help, the community can help to address this problem so we can get it out of here so nobody else needs to get hurt or killed. It was a sad situation last year in Āliamanu, and I will never want to see that again, especially in my community. So I challenge the police, not challenge, that's probably a wrong word. I welcome the police department and the state law enforcement community to get the community involved, and let's think out of the box how we can tackle New Year's Eve next year coming up, and we can stop this, especially these aerial fireworks. And I drove around Āliamanu, and a number of times people were throwing firecrackers in the middle of the road, which is illegal. And you know, like I said, the patrol officers don't have any time to address this. They're addressing other stuff. So we need to find other officers within the department that working in the office. We got 200 part-time reserve officers and I would say about 200 full-time officers working in the offices. For one night, they need to come out on New Year's Eve, and we have to show a force and address this problem once and for all. We cannot allow this to happen again. With that said, I just wanted to make that comment that I look forward to working with law enforcement, and hopefully we can make a major dent coming up this year coming up. Any other comments regarding fireworks? Okay, let's move on our agenda. Neighborhood 18 Community Warrior of the Month. The Warrior of the Month Award was established on August 8th, 2024. An award certificate is presented at our monthly scheduled meetings to a persons or group that provides outstanding service for the good of our community. The Warrior of the Month Award is presented to honor these people, past and present, who have greatly contributed unselfishly to help make Āliamanu-Salt Lake, Foster Village, and the airport area the best community district to live, work, and play. It is our belief that it's time and long overdue for our community to recognize these movers and shakers. And what better place to recognize these remarkable people right here in this Neighborhood Board 18 meeting, often referred to as the People's Meeting. With that said, our Warrior of the Month Award for January 2026 goes to Zoidel Magawai, who is our Executive Assistant with the Neighborhood Commission. Just want to read something before we start our ceremony. We're proud to recognize Zoidel Magawai as our January 2026 Warrior of the Month. Zoidel consistently goes above and beyond in his service to this board. He reliably arrives early to help set up before each meeting and stays afterward to ensure everything is properly broken down and reset. His behind-the-scenes efforts make our meetings run smoothly and efficiently, allowing the board to stay focused on the work at hand. Zoidel also takes on the critical responsibility of preparing the meeting minutes, carefully taking notes during each meeting, and ensuring accurate documentation. In addition, he sends timely reminders and notifications to board members, helping everyone stay informed, prepared, and engaged. Beyond this, Zoidel coordinates the venue schedule and makes sure the videographer is present, ensuring our meetings are accessible and well documented. His attention to detail, dependability, and follow-through are invaluable. Most importantly, Zoidel works exceptionally well with this board. He is respectful, collaborative, and always willing to step in wherever we need help. His dedication, professionalism, and positive attitude truly embodies the spirit of a warrior. Mahalo, Zoidel, for your commitment and service. Your contributions do not go unnoticed, and we are grateful for all that you do. Congratulations, Zoidel. You're the January 2026 Warrior of the Month. This time, board, can we come forward and take a picture with Zoidel. Moving on our agenda, we'll have an update on the Salt Lake Waterway by Secretary Kanemaru.
Thank you, Chair. Yes. Our Salt Lake Waterway is going to be a 5-year project. And so we're going to go into, as far as 2026, it'll be our 3rd year. So out of the 5 years that we've done it, we've been doing Genki ball tosses. So we'd like to have the Boy Scouts join us the next time. Yes, I'll send the invitation. But also, at the same time, we do it 3 times a year where we do a community cleanup. And, so if there's a merit badge for the community portion of it, right? Doing service. Yep. That'll be even better, right? So we'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone on that one there. But yeah, so anyway, our first Operation Clean Sweep, I moved it to April because April is Earth Day, right? It has Earth Day in it. So I thought that would be much more relevant. Previously in the past 2 years, we've been doing it in March. So I've pushed it to April, and I thought it was, like I said, much more relevant to that. So we'll be doing a community cleanup and Genki ball making. And the location will be specifically announced. I'm still working with Honolulu Country Club, who owns the Salt Lake Waterway. And so we need to get that determined on their map as to where, we're going to be attacking. But the first event will be on Saturday, April 11th from 1 to 4, and I will send you details. Yes. So, I'll give you details from, you can bring your own gloves and all that. I'll send all the details, and we usually give light refreshments. Then we're going to have a pat down, which that takes not even 45 minutes the following week. And then on the 25th of April, that's another Saturday, we're going to do the actual Genki ball toss event, where we make 1,000 balls and we let it cure for 2 weeks. And then, so that's why it's 2 weeks later, we'll be doing the toss. So that's another merit badge, right? Yeah. So anyway, the status of the Salt Lake Waterway, I'm actually very honored that the city and county had actually asked me to submit an abstract regarding our collaboration that we did with Honolulu Country Club about saving or the restoration of the Salt Lake Waterway. And my abstract is going to be one of 100 speakers that are going to be part of a all-Pacific water conference in February. So February 12th, I'll be doing a presentation of our community collaboration, of what community can do. Yeah. Yeah, so it's a great honor. So I just wanted to recognize that our board initiated, this whole action with Salt Lake Waterway. Thank you very much.
Just have a shout out regarding our Christmas parade, which occurred on December 20th. Called Church, they were responsible for the parade and they did an excellent job. All of the board members, all 9 of them participated in the parade. And thank Old Church for having a trolley so we could decorate it and ride within the community and ride in it. I was just truly amazed how much children lined the streets of Salt Lake and a lot of adults as well. So the parade was a success and we are looking forward to the next one. And, our board member, Joel Omura, he thought he had a singing career. But don't quit your day job, Joel. Anyway, board, do you guys have any other things to add? Any concerns, any announcements? Ed, don't sing, no.
This is, I guess I'm acting as a member of the community and not as a board. So my sister wrote this. She's a bike rider. So she wanted me to read this to the board and possibly discuss this as well later with the city or state, whoever. On January 6th, I cycled on the bicycle path near Pu'uloa from Dillingham Boulevard, Middle Street area, down to Pu'uloa side. I encountered 2 medium-sized dogs not on a leash. As I approached on my bike, they started to growl and ran after me as if ready to attack. I was able to cycle away. There are homeless people living under the viaduct with their dogs unchained. I am using a public bike path. It needs to be safe for the public to use. Please look into this.
Anything else, board? In the audience, anybody have any comments, concerns, or they want to bring up events? Representative Shimizu?
Thank you. I'm not sure if a resident Kim Pang is in the audience. This is your opportunity to share your community concern. Is she welcome to do that?
Hi, my name is Kim. I live on Olino Street. Every time rain, my place get flooded. So if somebody can reroute that water, I live next to the 2 tank. Behind the 2 tank. So if someone can help me do something about it. Every time rain, 10 minutes, heavy rain, my place get flooded.
Is the flooding coming from the city
Coming from
property
the
or the
Navy.
Navy property?
It come from the Navy side because behind is the government and there's a drainage. The drain is too small to hold the water. So
Okay.
it comes to my property.
I'm going to introduce Chuck, who's from the Navy, and he can come up and talk to you and get your information, and hopefully we can settle this. Good. Okay, and then we'll. Any other concerns that the audience has, events that they want to announce? Okay, let's move on to Aloha Stadium. I don't know if you heard the news, they're gonna build another stadium on the west side, 70,000 seat stadium. No, I just.
Hello, Chair Yomes, members of the board, and members of the community. I'm Chris Kinimaka, Special Projects Manager for the Department of Accounting and General Services. You're trying to give me a heart attack. Happy New Year and welcome back from your, even closer? Happy New Year and welcome back from your well-deserved December break. Today, I'm really happy. Oh, there we go.
You might have to take singing lessons from Joel Moore.
Oh, no, you don't want that. But today I'm happy to bring a new partner along with us. We have Samantha Spain, who is our Community Relations and Communications Specialist for the Stadium Authority. Sam will be now our point person doing all of the outreach and all of the presentations on behalf of our entire team. So please help me welcome Sam aboard. Now, we also, if you had not heard, in December, we also have a new deputy stadium manager. We have Michael Yadao, who's joining us because Chris Sarayasu, who used to be the other Chris with me, found greener pastures and new adventures with a sister agency. So we wish him well. But Mike Yadao has terrific background for us. He's already a member of the board. He's been on the board since 2021, and he has a lot of experience in the construction industry. So as we transition now from our procurement and negotiations contracts phases into actually active on-site development, Mike is going to be a tremendous asset to us. He's working very hard to keep us as a unified team moving forward now as a state-owned developer to bring about the stadium and the entire district for everyone. So we're very excited about that addition. For the demolition, our demolition activities are underway. If you've been watching the perimeter fencing, all the plywood is going up. It started on the north end zone, the north side of the perimeter, and it is working its way clockwise all the way around. There's also chain link dust fencing going up as well. And all of the site surveys, the landscaping surveys, and the hazardous material surveys are complete. So now the Stadium Authority is getting ready to actually relocate their offices out from the stadium into their new temporary location in the Lower Halava parking lot. And that should start at the end of this month, finishing by early February. So one of the things we're all looking forward to, right, was the delivery of the big cranes for the whole dismantling. What we did see with Aloha Halava District Partners is they decided to hold off on the actual delivery and wait until we're really ready to start the dismantling. So now that's going to be a Valentine's Day gift. They promise to have it delivered. As soon as the offices are vacated, they can start the heavy work. And the reason they didn't bring it earlier was because of the on-site liability and storage costs, which were upwards of $50,000 to $70,000. So we'd rather that go into a couple more seats in the stadium, yeah? So, other than that, Aloha Halava District Partners will continue to be working very closely with SAM now to address all of the community concerns. They will also be putting out notices in advance for any further future disruptions and traffic impacts, dust, what have you. I do want to give a shout out to Representative Ichiyama because she's helping us coordinate with the community. We did have a little bit of issues when they started to do some of the laydown along the Essex Road property. Thank you for getting us that information right away. We're going to continue, through SAM, working with all of you and with all of the neighborhood boards and the community association and our representatives and our senators to get the information out early so that the community is well aware of what's going on. And then when you have complaints, just call Sam. You're welcome. Bruno Mars is great. As far as the schedule is concerned, we are still on schedule. We're still aggressively moving forward, and March 2029 is still our target date. And with good news, I'll go ahead and let Sam take over.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for that introduction. So I have been with the stadium for 14 and a half years, right? So I'm very familiar with when the stadium, when it's open. We had our great 2018, 2019 events. I have been with the stadium as part of their marketing and communications for the last 14 and a half years. I always got the fun job of reporting all of the things that happen currently at the stadium. So, of course, with Chris is really exciting for us to move in. As Chris mentioned, I will just give my report on what's going on with the an attractive kind of construction zone. So we are working with the dredging and of course Stanford and his team with that. Move out, we are in boxes. So we are looking to move out into our new location, which is in the Lower Halava parking lot. It's the corner of Salt Lake and Kuopani. So that'll be the new Stadium Authority district offices. So we do have They're temporarily semi-permanent for the next 3 or 4 years. They can come in and go ahead. See it end, but we will be having we do things. We did relocate for Halavalot. All the vendors and all of our shoppers are really getting used to that new location, so we're very excited for that. We also have a partnership with DTS and Skyline, so we have an event coming up on we're looking to do limited edition video mobile cards. I'm very excited about that. So if you want one, come down. It's going to be on the 18th from 10 to 12. We do have a read to me. We'll have some stadium commemorative items. Our vendors are participating with our mystery lucky bag out the day. And then anyone with a holo card can actually have free entry.
Welcome aboard.
Portuguese, that's my.
Mrs. Kinimaka. Mrs. Kinimaka, I thought she was long, but you won the,
Promise, next time I will wrap it up.
no, that's good. Good reporting. Welcome aboard. Go ahead.
Chris, I just had a question. So there was an incident, I don't know, I think it was like November where at the flea market where the tent flew over, someone got hurt.
Yeah.
So, how are you guys gonna prevent it in the future so it doesn't happen? Cause I know I saw it all over social
Yeah.
media. So, and how is a person, I know HIPAA and all of that stuff, but how is a person doing?
Absolutely. Watch this. Sam.
That would be me.
That's pretty good.
Yes, look at that. So she is doing well. She was a vendor, so we are checking on her. She did have to get transported to the hospital to get looked at because the pole did hit her in the head, but she is doing fine. Yes, it was a little dust storm that kind of happened in one location and nowhere else there. So we are talking to all of the vendors because it is actually a lot more windier down there. So we're doing a lot of tie downs where in the past, if it was extremely windy, they could tie down with their car vehicles. So that's something that we're looking at to make sure that we address that. Because you're correct, those little blocks will just take up and whatnot. So there are looking at different precautions that we can do. We did at one point think about trying to have it secured to the ground, but then again, that is a safety issue that was concerned. So we are working on that.
Any other question? Thank you. You back up. Moving on our agenda, we have the military, Army, Lieutenant Colonel.
Good evening, Chairman Jones and members of the board. Thank you so much for the honor tonight and the cake. I really like the cake. But truly humbled and honored to be honored by the neighborhood board as we go into the 250th celebration of our nation's birth. So moving into some of the community notes that I got from Garrison. So they did publish the training advisory for the month of, the training advisory for the month of January All of it is up at Schofield Barracks and or the East Range. So Ranger/jungle tactics in the East Range, aviation training, day only, artillery mortar demolitions training at night and in the day. That's all up at Schofield Barracks. So shouldn't have too much of an impact down here. Not seeing anything else that would impact this community board. Additionally, during the month of April, the Army will be conducting prescribed burns up on Schofield Barracks Training Range Complex from the April 13th to the 19th. Alternative dates will be provided if circumstances change within the primary date range. To alleviate any fears, prescribed burning is one of the most effective tools in managing the spread of wildfires and enhances the protection of endangered plants and animals by reducing vegetative ground fuels that would otherwise be consumed by a wildfire. The Army has received approval from the Hawaii State Department of Health's Clean Air Branch and is coordinated with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to ensure all state, federal, and Army regulations are met. Multiple personnel and assets for the Army are supporting the prescribed burns: firefighters, aviators, engineers, range and safety officers, natural and cultural resource specialists, explosive ordnance disposal personnel, law enforcement personnel, and public affairs personnel. Operations will take place during daylight hours, and Army wildland firefighters will remain on site each night to monitor the area. And if there's any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to the Army Garrison Community Concerns, either email or phone number. I have provided chairperson or members of the board a copy of this. There's also a few more copies back there if you need the email address or phone number. And the last one, I kind of saved this one for last. For the first time ever, the wall that heals is coming to Oahu. So if you don't know what that is the 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam War Memorial. That will be out at the University of Hawaii's West Oahu campus from the 14th to the 19th of January. It will be open 24 hours a day through that entire time period. It is completely free. So if you've never had the opportunity to go to see the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C., they have made a 3/4 scale replica. That will be here completely free. There's a whole bunch of events. So if you just Google the wall that heals, you'll find in Oahu, you'll find like 8 different websites. I was doing it when I was sitting there to add some more to the talking points, but it's a really cool event. They're doing motorcycle rides, opening and closing ceremonies. And it's having seen it a couple times myself as I've moved around the United States, it's a rather powerful exhibit if you've never gone to it. There is also a mobile education center, and this entire exhibit is to honor the 58,821 service members who died during the Vietnam War. So pending any questions from the board?
Board, any questions for Lieutenant Colonel? Audience, any questions for the Army? Thanks again, Lieutenant Colonel. Appreciate Lieutenant Colonel Perry, Colonels Rachel Sullivan, Colonels Jim Sullivan. Thank you so much for bringing the Army out and participating with the community in celebrating America's 250th anniversary. Thank you so much. And thank you for bringing the Scouts. Hey, Navy, you're up. Navy, you took notes because you're next month. We're honoring the Navy in our salute to America.
I was taking.
So
notes.
you're just taking notes, right? Okay.
I was.
You gotta
Hey, good evening, Chair Yums and board members. Chuck Anthony with Joint Base Public Affairs here. I got a few items before we open it up to any possible questions. The next Restoration Advisory Board meeting is next week, Wednesday, the 14th. The RAB for short goes in depth into environmental issues. It involves very detailed, in-depth looks at different issues on a lot of different installations or even formally used sites. For instance, like at Kalailoa, we'll have a module on that at that meeting. That takes place next week, Wednesday, the 14th. 6 p.m. at the Oahu Veterans Center in Foster Village. The next item that I have is that the Navy Closure Task Force Red Hill has a new number 2 or second in command. Rear Admiral Williams was replaced on Monday by Rear Admiral Lester Ortiz. Admiral Williams had been here for about 2 years. Basically, the role of the deputy commander of the closure task force is to establish and execute the permanent decommissioning of the Red Hill bulk fuel storage facility, safely and expeditiously, and continue long-term environmental remediation in coordination with state and federal stakeholders in order to protect public health and the environment. The last item that I have, I'm actually going to look over towards Board Member Omura here. Also, starting next week, Wednesday, is the latest iteration of Sentry Aloha. This is a fighter aircraft exercise that takes place a couple of times a year. It's going to be going on for about 2 weeks, and so you can expect, perhaps, depending upon the winds and other weather conditions, some increased jet patterns, both takeoffs and doing tactical landings. But the reason why this exercise is very important and why it's done here two times a year is because Hawaii, being geographically isolated, and the fact that no commercial aircraft overfly Hawaii, all the aircraft, because the curvature of the earth, if you're going from, say, like Los Angeles to Tokyo, you're going to head more north towards Alaska and then fly down into Asia that way, or vice versa. And so what you have is literally hundreds of miles in any direction of unrestricted airspace. And so this is a unique training area in Hawaii that's very important to train fourth and fifth generation fighters for not just local pilots with the Hawaii Air National Guard, but Air Force pilots across the entire spectrum. And again, that'll be taking place for about 2 weeks. Subject to any questions, that's all I have.
Board, any questions for the Navy? Audience, any questions for the Navy?
Sentry Aloha takes place January 14th through the 28th.
Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Any Space Force? Here from Space Force. Moving on. Mayor Rick Blangiardi. Oh, Board of Water Supply, sorry. You guys are the one that charge a lot. You're next.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jimmy Llanos, and I'll be representing Board of Water Supply tonight. I'm going to start off with a concern that we had from our last meeting. There was a concern or a question about the main break that occurred at 3330 Āliamanu Street, and if it occurred Mauka or Makai. And I'm here to report that the main break occurred on the Makai side of the street. And relating to that, there was also a concern about why there were so many main breaks in that area at the time, and if the electrical lines in the area could have affected the main breaks. And I'm here to report that finding the exact cause of a main break can be difficult, as many factors can make pipelines more prone to failure. Some causes include age of the pipe corrosion, ground shifting, water pressure surges, or nearby construction work. While electrical lines are not known to cause water main breaks, other utility work in the area can sometimes cause ground movement that can impact BWS pipelines. So moving on to the main break report. There was only one main break in the month of December that occurred on December 6th, and that was a 12-inch diameter pipe at 3375 Koapaka Street. And finally, for my general water announcements, I did pass out some flyers to the board members, and if members of the public want some flyers too, I did leave some in the back table. So January's neighborhood board announcement is about how conserving water now comes with bigger rewards. The Board of Water Supply, in partnership with the Department of Environmental Services, has expanded the Water Sensible rebate program, doubling many rebates. Residents can now receive higher rebates, such as $150 for Energy Star clothes washers, $200 for WaterSense labeled toilets, and $400 for Water Smart monitors. Commercial customers may also qualify for higher rebates on plumbing and kitchen equipment. The goal is simple: help people save money while using less water. Find out more at www.boardofwatersupply.com/rebates. That concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Board, any questions for Board of Water? Okay, you had a question? Audience, any questions for the Board of Water Supply? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
Let's get to the mayor's office. Wait, before you start, Brian, who can tell me out of the scouts, what's the name of our mayor? Don't raise your hand quickly. Very good.
Very good.
Okay, Brian, you're up.
I'll let the mayor know that the scouts know. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Brian Gallagher. I am the Deputy Director for the city's Department of Planning and Permitting. I am the mayor's rep for this neighborhood board. We'd actually like to promote, I see some new faces in here. And so the mayor's office puts out a really good newsletter that is available online. There's usually some copies in the front and on the table over there. But if you get a chance, we have at honolulu.gov mayor/newsletter. It's our one Oahu. We provide updates. The latest you'll be able to get our highlights. We have officially our new ocean safety. So our lifeguard department is official, and we have a confirmed director. His name's Kurt Lager. The city's very pleased to be able to move forward with that and get that solidified. We also have some other highlights in the newsletter. The city's going to be having some public meetings coming up real soon because FEMA is going to be turning out new flood maps. We'll be talking more about that specific topic later. However, yeah, so please be aware that there are a number of websites, and the city's been working with FEMA on new revised flood zoning. So we're going to have some virtual meetings. We're going to have a meeting at in Kaneohe, NIAA with the public. So starting in June 10th, 2026 this year, those maps are going to go into effect, and that could affect your flood insurance and construction. So there's numerous websites that have that either through FEMA or our city's CCSR office. We'd also like to announce that the city was able to begin construction at our Waianae Police Station. That's going to expand our capacity at the Waianae Police Station. It's been a longstanding concern for the community. And we have some transit-oriented housing coming to Kapolei and Kalihi. So for more information on those topics, please check out our honolulu.gov mayor's newsletter. Another thing we'd like to announce is the city has a new reporting system for the public. It's called HNL311.com. We have an app. If you'd like to download it, it's available for Apple or Android. So it's going to replace our old system. You can upload photos, video, send it directly to us. We fully tested it. It goes directly to the department. And if you register through the app, we will give you updates as it moves through the city system so you can get a response. So this is going to help replace our old system where some things got lost along the way a couple times. But please check that out. It's a huge help for the city and the entire community. Moving into some concerns that were brought up at the last board meeting. I believe we had a question from member Valdez on speed bumps in the Salt Lake area. So the Department of Transportation Services is still, they're still waiting for the Salt Lake widening project to complete, and then they can do a complete traffic study to see what are the actual speeds going to be. And they're expecting the Salt Lake widening project to be completed in May of this year. See, there was a request for repairs to a wooden bridge near Aloha Stadium. I believe member Omura was asking about that. He's reporting that cyclists are getting flat tires, and so our City Department of Facilities Maintenance, they did put in a service request, and the work is anticipated to be completed in early to mid 2026 this year. So they took your request that they're going to try to fix that wooden bridge where they're getting flat tires.
Mr. Moore, can you use the microphone, please? So they can hear you. TV land.
I noticed they put a little pad, like on the bike. I run, so I run to, and I put in the complaint to him last month. And they have this wooden bridge, like just wood blocks, and it looks like I've seen that for decades. So when I run over there, right, when I'm running and I step on it, it kind of gives me an eerie feeling like, oh, what if this thing breaks and my legs go through there and I get splintered or something?
Yeah, understood.
But I noticed that they're on the worst ones that I thought there's something over that as well now, but there's still some pieces.
Well, yeah, but thanks for bringing that up. We appreciate that. There was a question about road repair on Āliamanu-Salt Street. So they've added that. So that's between two departments. Our Department of Facilities Maintenance, who's actually they technically are for city roads. They are the owner and maintainer. They'll do kind of maintenance, and for large repair projects, it goes to our City Department of Design and Construction. So they added it to the list. It's going to get. They're looking to get funding for it, and they're going to start a large repair project. And in the meantime, DFM is still going to repair potholes and keep an eye on it. I believe there was a question about rail bus coordination in service for Salt Lake. I think the question was whether there will be a dedicated transportation method to connect Salt Lake residents to the Lagoon Drive Skyline Station, or if the community will still continue to rely on the existing 1L bus route that runs from Salt Lake to the Aloha Stadium Skyline Station. So our City Department of Transportation Services, they have been evaluating the bus routes in the Salt Lake area to improve connectivity to Skyline. The routing proposals will be distributed for public input prior to the finalization of the plan. And an implementation timeline has not been determined yet, but they are looking at that concern. Because we definitely would like to integrate those systems and get people on from bus to rail and back and forth. Just completes the whole network, right? Once we get more info, I think there'll be more coming out on that. There was a question about school pickup enforcement. I think there was an issue with parents parking on the right side of the street during school pickup times. And then there was also a note that pedestrians and students continue to jaywalk at the former crosswalk location instead of using the marked crosswalk at the Salt Lake Boulevard and Āliamanu Street intersection near the fire station. So we got an update from HPD, and they said on Officer Jonathan Ng of District 5 spoke to the principal Robin Martin of Moanalo High School regarding this complaint. Principal Martin stated that she would send out a message to the parents and students about parking and jaywalking. We have another note from November 25th, 2025, Officer Noli and Second Watch Patrol units conducted checks for this complaint and issued the following violations. So they said they had one citation for no left turn, 2 warnings for right turn, or no, left turn, and then they had 35 warnings for jaywalking. That's actually a good warning to the students in there to be careful. And then they had another 21 warnings for no parking zone. So hopefully that helps alleviate situations in the community. But yeah, please keep an eye, let us know. That's how we work together. We'll try to keep getting the word out there. And that's all I have.
Board, any questions for the mayor's office? Mr. Davis?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I got 2 questions. For the road system for the Department of Transportation on Valkenburg, I know a couple of weeks ago we had a tremendous downpour rain coming through the area, and there is, I guess, with a lot of traffic's been rolling through there and the gravel been picked up now, that has created like a multitude of potholes. And then it is at the point to where everybody mainly drives on the road where the wheel well are stationed at. So if you try to veer left or right to there, you're going either into oncoming traffic or you're going to try to avoid the potholes and hit a curve. And the one that is very detrimental, that I'm pretty sure a lot of people are probably getting tires changed, like as soon as they hit it, is towards the end, right over by the Navy Marine golf course. It's right in the downhill. And I mean, as soon as if you hit it the right way, both tires are done. The front tires in the beginning are probably just smoked from there, and you're looking for a tow truck there. I just wonder if there's been an immediate action or request to get that kind of fixed for the people that's driving down that road. You get a lot of traffic during the Barkenberg during the 5 o'clock traffic or in the morning time when people are going to work.
Yeah, we'll check on that. We'll let you know.
Thank you. And then, and lastly, the road out here on Nimitz, I've seen work out here previously before, but if you ride that far right lane going east towards downtown, like it's like riding a horrible roller coaster for a mile and a half. Like you'll need a chiropractor after you get done riding that thing. But I thought I've seen some people work on it before, or the Department of Transportation work on it before, but I guess it's gotten worse during the end. And a lot of people don't really use that lane until after you get to a PA Street is when they start veering to the right a little bit. But it is detrimental to one, shocks on vehicles or whatnot. Like if you ride that for too long, I'm pretty sure like people are starting to get repairing on their vehicles. So.
Yeah, no, appreciate that. So one of the checks we'll do is the jurisdiction between city and state, but either way, the city and state, they coordinate really, really well on all road transportations and improvements.
Okay.
So we'll make sure the right party gets the information.
Yes, sir.
We'll
Thank
let
you.
know.
Any other questions? Secretary Connie Morrow?
The new program that with the cams, for the car cams, the dash cams, I know that on Oahu, we're all out already, but they're looking for, people on the outer islands. But who's going to be tracking that? Is it going to be just DOT? Is it a state program only, or is it a city and state?
I gotta apologize. I'm not aware of that program.
Ah, okay. It's been on television, I do believe that, you can, yeah. And the dash cams, you can submit the video portion of it, of, when you see those kind of places with the big dips and people doing illegals and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but, okay, but
Yeah,
anyway,
we'll check on that.
okay, yeah.
Because that's still
just-
another piece where city and state work together.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a
yeah.
really good tool.
So, yeah, I think it's a great program if it's successful.
Yeah,
If-
we'll check in.
If it's monitored, yeah, please.
I believe that was the State Department of Transportation, but
Oh, thank you.
any other questions? Mr. O'Mora?
Okay, the first one, I brought it up in community concerns on my sister's bike thing. And this has been brought up a couple times in, the years I've been in with the board. Because I also jog through that path, but I won't go through that path also because I saw the dogs as well. But this is like about 2 years ago kind of thing. So I thought, I forgot about it because I jog different directions now. But when we talked about the problem before, that bike pathway between Middle Street and Pulo Road on the Malka side, or the mountain side, as they say, the Malka side, that one, it kind of goes under the viaduct kind of thing, the freeway viaduct or whatever that high rise is. And I know the problem before was that bike path, I think, is city, but right there's a separation. There's a chain fence that goes right under the viaduct. And I think that because I think that's that H1 or H whatever above that's state. So the ground under that is state too. And the barbed wire fence that separates that. See, the problem is a lot of the homeless they cut the fence and they live inside or underneath the viaduct. And they have a lot, and I've noticed this myself, more and more dogs are venturing there, and they're kind of on the wilder side. And I know I've brought this up before a couple years ago, and they refenced it. Basically, the problem is when you refence that again, right? You totally refence it. And I don't think anyone's touched that in the last like 3 or 4 years kind of thing. So I'm not sure if it's you guys or the state. So I'm going to bring that back when the state person comes up as well, because I know like that's an area where there's always like, oh, it's a state, no, it's a city, no, it's a state, no, it's a city. And then next thing, nothing gets done kind of thing. So, yeah.
There's a part where that overlaps with city and state, where we'll check on jurisdiction and whose fence it is, but this city and state have services that can help, one, take care of the dogs and take care of the homeless and try and clean up the area. So, yeah, we'll definitely go check and see what's going on.
Brian, hold off on that. Mr. O'Moore, you can get together with Mr. Davis and look at that area, take a couple photos, be more specific, and then we can give it to the city or state, whoever falls into that jurisdiction. So,
You remember, Omura, what would be great is if you downloaded the HNL 311 app. That'd be perfect.
Okay.
Take pictures on your run.
I guess I will learn. I'm
Yes.
a dog that don't know.
It's going to make everything great.
Learn a new trick.
It's going to be good. Yeah.
Okay.
so cross that off your list until we get the facts together.
Thank you.
Also, another question I had is, the property taxes, and this is a thing that I guess my sister also talked to me about because she's in control of the property where we live. And because of that, she pays the property tax in our apartment. However, most of her life, she spent working in Japan, so she never paid, to the federal government, so she has no Social Security. So now at age 68, she has to go back to work so that she can make that difference because she got no Social Security coming, hardly. And because of that, I guess we got a letter stating the property taxes are going to skyrocket. I mean, they're going to go much higher again. They're going up. We had huge discounts before, but because my sister started working again, she lost all of it now, and she's going to have to pay the whole thing. And my question is, is there something that the city can do to alleviate people that didn't work in the United States, but have been paying, taxes throughout their lifetime here, and then now they come back, they don't get any Social Security, because most people, when you look at the property taxes, they don't count Social Security as far as earned income. They only look at what your earned income is. And so it's a disadvantage for people that, grew up over here in the islands, went to work outside the country, came back here, have no Social Security, and they have to work, and that gets counted against them. Whereas people that have no pension, there are people around, a lot of them that have no pensions or whatever, but they have a huge Social Security, and that does not count at all for property taxes. So that's kind of like, it raises a question like, so what's going on? Or is there something that can happen on that?
Yeah, we'll check on that. I know there are some reductions when you hit certain age benchmarks and things like that, but it sounds like a more complicated issue. But it kind of goes in line with some of the things that our city council and our city administration have been talking about of ways to help the public with their property taxes.
Okay. And the next thing was on the Salt Lake widening project. You mentioned that it's going to be completed by May of this year. We talked to the people doing the construction. One side of Salt Lake Boulevard should be completed by the end of the year, but the other side is going to take another 2 years. So in other words, Salt Lake Boulevard is not going to be completed now for at least another 2+ years.
That's a good point. And I think what they're getting to is that one side, once they get that one side completed, but just so everybody knows, there is that other half that still
And the
needs to be
other
done.
side is going to be the problem side, because all those people living in the houses, right? They
True.
think that property is theirs, that goes out to the road, when actually goes back 20 feet or 30 feet inside where the telephone poles are.
Summarize, Mr. O'Moore.
Okay, and the last thing is, thank you
Mr.
for
O'Moore,
covering the
hold-
potholes.
hold on. Have any questions? He's on his 4th round. Okay, your 4th question, hopefully that's the last.
Yeah, this is the last one. I wanted to thank you for the potholes, because even though I seen I'm the one that wrote, talked to you last month about November, about the potholes on at the Ala Lilikoi between Salt Lake and Ala Ilima. And I said the main problem was right at that crosswalk where you turn right onto Ala Ilima from Ala Lilikoi. I seen you guys padded that up a little, so that was really good. So thank you. Even though that the road is still kind of like scary, at least the parts where people walk on are a little bit more safer or steadier kind of thing. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll let DFM know that the neighborhood appreciates it.
Any more questions? Still more? Audience, any questions for the city, the mayor's office? Scouts, any questions for the mayor's office? I have a question. Well, that's for you, Brian, and the scouts. It's a hard one. Can you tell us when the mayor is on the mainland or not in the state in Honolulu, who takes his place? And if you know what his title is, I gave you a hint, it's a he. Anybody from the scouts know the answer? If not, Brian will educate you as to our managing director.
So one of the mayor's right-hand men, and he has many women that work for him that he truly respects as well. It's the managing director, the city and county of Honolulu. His name is Mike Hornby. He is involved in everything. So the mayor sets policy, but on a lot of directions, so does the managing director. But all the departments actually report directly to the managing director. And we think Mike Formby does not sleep. We think he is a machine. It's impressive.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Okay, next, city council. Scouts, anybody know who the city council member? I know most of you live at Schofield and in Wahiawa. Anybody know the city council member's name? It's Radiant Cordero.
Happy New Year, everyone, and Happy New Year, Neighborhood Board. I thought I was going to be late, but I'm glad I made it. I'm sorry I missed Warrior of the Month. Zoidal, congrats.
And Bill, before you start, city council member, can
yes.
you educate the scouts as to
Sorry.
how many people sit on the city
Sure.
council and how does it work? Very brief.
Sure. Hi, Scouts. Thank you for being here. And it's awesome that you're here. When I was in the second to fourth, fifth grade, I think I started with brownies and I didn't go back. But just wanted to let you all know that I tried to be like you. But anyway, the Honolulu City Council are basically lawmakers or legislators at the city level. We take care of basic like city everyday functions, from our parks to our street lights. So that's why a lot of the questions that the mayor gets are related to things that you see every day. And I am on the Honolulu City Council, and there are 9 members who represent the whole island. So about 1.1, close to 1.2 million people in the state. And I get to represent about 121, close to 122,000 people in my district. So my district goes from, who knows where Best Buy in Aiea is? Best Buy, or I don't know, Dave's Ice Cream. Who knows where Dave's Ice Cream is in Aiea? Okay, over there, all the way to who knows where Costco is in Ibalay, Costco in town. That's where I also get to represent. So that my district goes from there. I get to go up the mountains in Halava, in Aiea, and Moanalua. I have Fort Shafter, Joint Base for Harper Hickam, Airport. Who's in Fort Shafter? Awesome. Okay. So although we don't get to take care of all the places on base, I do get to do really cool things with our military partners. So that's a really cool part of my job. So, and I get to work with all the neighborhood board members here and my state colleagues as well. Okay, so once again, Happy New Year, everyone. I'm Radiant Cordero, your council member and neighbor here in Salt Lake. I do want to first off respond to a few of the things before I get to my report. I do want to bring up Board Member Omura. Plenty of questions, love it. But I do want to ask, well, later on, you can let me know, again, the age. I think you said your sister is 68. Yeah, so I don't know if she already applied for her homeowner's exemption. She she should also, I don't know why that was hard to say, she should also have been able to apply for the 65 years and older. We just approved of the $160,000 home exemption also for the year. So please make sure that she starts applying for her homeowner exemptions. I have information on my newsletter, which I see that you have before you all. Whether it be the 65 years and older or the homeowner exemption, and there are a multitude of other types of exemptions that you could go to the link that's on my report as well. And there's multitude a great amount of ways to find out the information. Put the phone number there as well. But the deadline's coming up for appealing the real property assessment. So if you go to my third page on my, no, not third page. Okay, whatever page, fourth page, I think, on my report, you'll be able to see a few of the deadlines there and how to appeal your real property assessment if you got it, which I assume from board member Omura, he got it. Not last month, last 2 months ago, no, November, sorry, I don't know what month it is. We got a concern, I think also from board member Omura about the EMS concern about staffing and lack of ambulances, or who was that? Was somebody. Oh, Gower. Okay, well, he's not here, but he can watch this. Okay, so board member Gower asked about that. Myself and Representative Ichiyama shared that concern with the EMS director, Dr. James Ireland, or Dr. Jim Ireland, and also at the same time where he spoke with both myself and Representative Ichiyama, he also did a press release / news report to KHON, and he wanted to dispel the letter that was going around to the different neighborhood boards and different communities that were saying that staffing and ambulances were going to be leaving the areas, including and especially Kalihi, Salt Lake, and Āliamanu area. Of course, because that concerns us, we of course were worried. So along with Representative Ichiyama, Dr. Ireland informed us that is not the case, that they are actually formulating more partnerships with Kapiolani Community College, and that they're looking to see a greater amount of graduates from their EMT program. And so we're going to have more of that. They're looking, they just are finishing up acquiring the Blood Bank of Hawaii property. You all know, because I've been reporting this probably from 2017, 2016, actually. I remember at Oahu Veterans Center telling you about the Blood Bank property. We're finally getting it. I know, we take a long time, but hey, we had to deal with like legal stuff. Anyway, so that's happening. That's actually allowing us to get even more ambulances. And Rep. Ichiyama, when you come up here, please correct me if I'm wrong. But we're going to be seeing that change. A lot of the changes that were occurring is that he's tapping into the new hires and seeing where they want to work and then filling in the pukas that way. So we will have that. And he's also looking at changing the staffing hours from, I had it here. Just changing the staffing hours from, I think, 12 hours to a certain amount. I'll try to look them up and then give it to Rep. Ichiyama. But definitely we're looking at more ambulances in our area. Oh, okay. He's moving away from the traditional midnight to noon schedule to 10 to 10. So 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., which will help address coverage on peak demand times and improving work-life balance. And also Kaimuki, Kaka'ako are going to be getting new ambulance units because our units actually used to go and help over there by Mo'iliili, Makali, and all the like. So that will help us. So we'll have more of the, not the attention, but just more units focused on our area. So just wanted to address that. I do want to say that I have my report. I have our meeting schedule here. I do note that on Hula Kui Drive, the rehabilitation project was going to be starting on December 10, 2025. If you're in the area, it's on the page 2 of my report. I do want to note that there's going to be repainting, the repainting of the crosswalks, the Aladapunani and Likini are scheduled to start this year. So you're going to start seeing that. And my team went out through the different parts of Salt Lake and Āliamanu and reported all the faded signs. And so we sent, I don't know, a novel to DFM. And then, of course, we know that we talk about this all the time during the end of the year. We know that DFM is always tied up doing a lot of things. So a lot of the overgrowth started to occur. I do want to thank this neighborhood board for honoring Principal Dwayne Abe. I heard the request to honor him at the city council. We did that in December as well. Still trying to get a hold of former board member to honor the family from Radford, but hopefully we can do that soon. I also want to invite everyone on Saturday, next Saturday. I'm partnering with Read to Me International. I don't know who's been a part of the Read Aloud program. I'm going to be reading a book with DTS Director Roger Morton at Skyline Halava Station from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. I don't hope I'm not reading that long, but we'll be reading books with Keiki. Hopefully we're going to have refreshments and snacks. You don't have to go away. We're going to be right outside on the Mackay end of the station. So join us as well as DTS and Read to Me International. And I talked a little bit about the real property assessment. Once again, it's on the last page of my report. With that, I'm done, and I'm here to answer any of your questions.
Board members, any questions for the city council member? Audience, any questions for the city council member? Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Governor's office? Scouts, who is the governor of the state of Hawaii? First row, right here. These three been hiding. Who's the governor of the state of Hawaii? Okay, anybody from the Scouts?
I think 2 in a row for that guy.
Correct. Very good. And this is even a harder one. When the governor's not here, who's the lieutenant governor of the state of Hawaii? That was a hard one. It's Sylvia Luke, but if somebody would have gotten it, the secretary Kanemaru was going to give you $20, but oh well, nobody got the right answer. So governor's report.
Aloha ahi ahi. Good evening, Chair, Board, and community members. My name is Diamond Badajos. I am the Public Information Officer with the Department of Hawaiian Homelands, acting here tonight as the governor's rep. I apologize for my absence. My 11-year-old schedule doesn't allow me to be multiple places at once. But I did make note of some of the things that I believe will be useful for the Department of Law Enforcement. So that included the fireworks and possible community collaboration. I also made note of the dog incident under the airport viaduct. Perhaps that might be DOT. I can also send you, Zoidel, the 2 press releases that came out regarding the dashboard camera program with, as Chair said, the Department of Transportation. With that being said, I'm definitely open to any more follow-ups that I can relay back to the community individually or to the board.
Questions, board for the governor? Mr. Moore, make it short. Scouts needs to go to school.
Only one question this time around. With this pertains to state taxes. Recently on the federal level, they passed this thing where they said no tax on tips, no taxes on overtimes on the federal level. However, on the state level, there are 22 states that are not going to do this for political stupid reasons. And Hawaii is one of the 22. So I was wondering, is that true or not? And if so, how come? And what are we going to do about it? Because, sometimes politics gets in the way of common sense and helping the common people. And this no tax on tips and this no tax on overtime is really going to help a lot of the people that are not in the unions, because most people are in unions, like with the folks in the state government, city, all these other things. More than half the state is in unions, but those that are not, especially the people that work in restaurants, in the Waikiki hotel business, so forth, they got up, and also, like I said, retail, they work all kinds of hours for close to minimum wage types of things. And to me, this is political BS, but it's kind of like, so what is happening anyway?
Noted. I'll check on that for you.
Audience, any questions for the governor's office? Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Moving on to Senator Wakai's office.
Aloha, good evening, board members and everybody. My name is Kaylani Gallen. I am the committee clerk representing for Senator Wakai for this legislative session. I'll be relaying the January report. It's short and simple. As you all know, in regards of the devastation from last year for the fireworks, the Senate has been working diligently to pass laws that will help with public safety. As you guys may know, several key measures were passed last session that clarifies criminal penalties for a wide range of illegal firework activities, elevating penalties to a felony class if it causes casualties. Also last session, Senator Wakai's bill, Senate Bill 222 Act 246, it extends the state illegal firework task force through 2030, ensuring coordination and enforcement. On New Year's Eve, HPD and the Department of Law Enforcement, thanks to the use of drones, 61 tons of illegal fireworks were seized and 5 felony arrests. And then they issued 29 citations for violations across all districts. And the Aloha Stadium Agency has noted, or has said, barriers are being put up in preparation for the dismantling of the stadium. Work began last month. The demolition and debris removal should take up to 10 months, and the stadium should be built, as said before, March 2029. On a lighter note, Glenn Wakai attended the Christmas performances at Mauna Loa and Radford Complex, and he really felt the Christmas spirit from the keiki of the community. With that being said, I'm open to questions that I can bring back to Senator.
Board, any questions for the senator? Audience, any questions for Senator Wakai's office? Thank you.
Thank you.
Host Representative Linda Ichiyama.
Good evening, Chair Yomes, members of the Neighborhood Board, members of the community. I'm Linda Ichiyama, State Rep for House District 31. I'd like to introduce Jen Elizondo. She is going to be our legislative aide for this session, and she'll be attending the meetings on my behalf. I just wanted to take a minute to introduce her. She's also circulating copies of our January community update. The legislative session will officially start January 21, 2026. A tongue twister. And so I wanted to highlight some of the features of the legislative website. We've updated our search bar to help make it easier for folks to find topics of interest. And on the reverse, we also wanted to share that Āliamanu Elementary School is having a e-waste recycling day, Saturday, January 17th from 8 to noon. So please take a look at the list of the welcomed recyclables.
Representative Ichiyama, can you explain to the scouts how the House of Representatives work for the state of Hawaii? How many House members in the chamber? And just a short, brief, hate to put you on the spot, but
Sure.
explain to the scouts.
So the Hawaii State Legislature consists of the House of Representatives and the Hawaii State Senate. The House of Representatives has 51 members and the Senate has 25. And so in order for a bill to become a law, it has to pass readings in both the House and the Senate, and then it gets sent up to the governor to review and sign. And then the governor gets to decide if he wants to sign or veto. And then the legislature has to decide if we want to override, in a nutshell.
Thank you. Any questions for the representative board? Audience, any questions for Representative Ichiyama? Thank you.
Mahalo. Thank you.
Representative Shimizu.
Hello, Chair Yomes, board, and members of the community. That was a great succinct explanation that Representative Ichiyama made. I wish it was that easy to pass legislation. I am Representative Garner Shimizu, District 32, and starts roughly from 4th Chapter, Moanalua, Red Hill, Alava, Lower Aiea, Pearl Ridge, Magoo Point, Aloha Stadium, Foster Village, West Āliamanu. So great to have 4th Chapter in the House, and the military, of course, we honor your service to us. I brought up here earlier resident Kim Pang. She did experience flooding during that torrential rains we had, and I want to thank Chuck from the Navy, who was my shout out person, and please stay in contact with me, Chuck. I have a question, since I have a platform right here. Is the recent construction of the water tanks that's in that area, did that affect the grade? If you check on that, I don't know if you need an answer right now, if you do have one or not.
So NAVFAC is going to take a look at it and see if there might be a way to increase the drainage in that particular area. It has been an ongoing issue for quite some time. There has been some construction at the water tanks. They had to tear down one of the old ones, put in a new one, and they're going to be tearing down the second one, putting in a new one afterwards. But it doesn't seem as though that construction was a contributing factor to the water flow. It was very excessive rain that particular weekend. But more to follow.
Thank you, Chuck. I had a constituent concern requesting dedicated left turns on Salt Lake Boulevard, westbound into Radford Drive, where there's Radford Drive and Likini Place, and also eastbound on Salt Lake Boulevard, turning left into Wanaka. We did a communication with the DTS. They looked into it. They could not find justification for that dedicated left turn, but the blessing was they did observe illegal left turns coming out of Makalapa Elementary, turning onto Salt Lake Boulevard, even though they are posted right turn only signs. So they are going to be installing delineators in the median to prevent that illegal left turn going from the Makalapa Elementary parking lot, turning left onto Salt Lake Boulevard. I thought I was gonna get some claps for that, but I don't know if this is the Army or the Navy, but it was a request on 4319 Halupa, Foster Village. Is that Navy adjacent or Army? Okay. There is vegetation that's on, I guess, Navy property adjacent to 4319 Halupa, and along that, their neighbors and wherever that occurs, and vegetation is overgrown, so the request is for fire mitigation over there to prevent wildfire.
Representative Shimizu, I'll take care of that. I'll notify the Navy, or if it's on the Navy property, if the Army, I'll let them know. So you can scratch it up, and I'll get back to you as to what happened.
Okay, thank you. I got two people helping me out. Thank you very much. Last thing is there's a public announcement next week, Saturday, not to compete with council members reading, but there is a e-cycle that I just realized that Representative Ichiyama already explained and noted. But other than that, I'm open for any questions.
Any questions for the representative? Audience, any questions for the representative? Thank you, Representative Shimizu.
Thank you.
At this time, I want to thank the Scouts of America, Troop 24, for attending our meeting this evening. Thank you, Colonel Jim Sullivan, for bringing the Scouts here. And I hope you enjoyed everything. And at this time, I will let you folks grab some more cake out the door. And you guys need to go to school. I see somebody in there is dozing off in the back. No, he's not. But anyway, thank you so much for coming out, and thank you for having the Army participate with the community to celebrate the 250th anniversary of America. Save me a piece of cake. No, don't eat all the cake.
Hello, thank you so much for letting them participate this evening. Thank you.
I guess we don't have a full house anymore. All the seats are empty up front. Anyway, let's move on our agenda. We have the presentation from the city regarding flooding of Mapunapuna. I believe that got, I guess we're having that in February, but I know the city has somebody that wants to speak. That notified me yesterday, but I did not respond back. But Brian, I'm gonna have at least an hour for the city to our next meeting on February 12th to explain. I have so many questions. 3 people was gonna come tonight. I canceled them. So I really wasn't sure what the city was gonna do. But I still want the city to return on February 12th and give us a report of, I have some questions that needs to be answered for the community. But you make it short tonight, and then I'm willing to have you guys back on the 12th along with anything else. But I just have a list of questions that some of the people brought, and maybe I can read it out to you and you can take notes or whichever. But I hopefully that you guys can give a presentation. I asked for this in November. Hopefully you can give a full presentation and answer some of the public's questions.
Yeah, especially if you're gonna bring members from the community. I'm assuming it's businesses that are in the Mapunapuna area, things like that. We've definitely been looking at this. There's a lot of facets to this between city, state, federal, and private property. To give just a short, because we'll go over it again in February, and then whoever you want to bring in, we'll ask. And then I appreciate, any questions you got, we'll incorporate that definitely into, or we can either answer now or we can incorporate it into next month. But yeah, it's kind of a complex issue. I know there's a lot of research out there. One says, there's a study out there that says Mapunapuna is sinking. And they show it in some areas, they measure it at 1 inch a year. So you compound that with sea level rise. And a lot of the issue, everybody sees it. It's been going on for decades. It comes in through the storm drains. It comes out of the drain inlets, and then it floods those lower areas. Our Department of Facilities Maintenance has a contract to, again, work on those duckbill valves. So those have been problematic because they get filled with trash and then debris, and then they get stuck open. But they're going to send in divers, and they're going to work on a way to consistently maintain that and keep that flowing. Because there are reports before where those systems helped, but then it's a maintenance issue. So there's a number of aspects to it. That's not perfect. Things we can talk about is, one, is the city going to raise the streets? But if we raise the streets, then you got to raise the sidewalks and all the utilities, and then the drainage issue becomes an issue in private property. So how do we work with private property to then, it's like, how do you raise the whole area, which is going to be extremely expensive? So the city is looking at it. We're working with FEMA. We're working with DLNR. We're doing an island-wide study on multiple areas. One area we're looking at in particular is a pilot project for Waikiki, because they have similar issues in areas. And that was coordinating with businesses, the local property owners. What are they experiencing? How do we work together? How do we phase improvements? Because it's really going to take city, state, federal, and private groups to work together to come to a long-term process, because some of the projections out there for long-term, it's not good. And a lot of scientists tell us managed retreat is the only option. So either do that or you go to some version of Venice, Italy, something like that. But
Yeah, the reason, get to her in a second. The reason I bring this up is not only the businesses, yes, they're suffering because the rust and corrosion is taking out their pipes, their water pipes, their sewer pipes, the sidewalk is getting busted up. People can't even walk on a sidewalk. You look at all the fire hydrants in Mapunapuna, it's all rusted, it's coming apart. There's a big project on Mapunapuna Street. 6 months the road was closed. They opened it up. We still have the same problem there. So like you said, it's complicated, but we need to get an answer because it doesn't only affect the people the businesses in Mapunapuna. I feel sorry for them because they're just skating, they're just getting by, I should say, and they're paying this extra thousands of dollars to fix their piping when this flooding is occurring and is taking out the pipes that goes to their businesses. But also the cars that drive past Mapunapuna Street, Ahua Street, this is going into the injured parts. I saw myself about 3 or 4 cars getting stalled in there. They had to be towed away because the flood was so bad. It was covering the sidewalks, the entire roadway. So after people that drive through there, they should be cautious and careful because that'll take care of it'll get to your brake system, and later on your brakes will rust and you have to take care of your brakes, and the whole set of your brake system needs to be replaced. So like I said, it's a big problem in Mapunapuna, and hopefully we can get to a solution.
no, agreed.
Go ahead.
We totally agree with what you've just said. So there is a point where the Department of Planning and Permitting for the city and our Climate Change Sustainability and Resiliency Office with Kayla Fox, we brought her tonight. So it's where we work together and working with federal and state entities to help plan out a better solution. So hopefully we can alleviate exactly what you're talking about. It's just a matter of getting to that point of consistency because it's how do we work together because parts of the drainage canal, some parts are state, some parts are city, and actually parts of the stream is actually private land and then it's state west. But either way, we got to come to some kind of solution. But I definitely like to have Dr. Fox present her piece because a lot of it overlaps with what we can then discuss at the next meeting as well, which I can cover. So,
And Brian, before Dr. Fox comes on, this board wants to know how Salt Lake Waterway, how does it come through Mapunapuna? Where does it go? Obviously to the ocean, but we want to know the pattern and how this goes because the opposite side of Mapunapuna at Mokomoa Street and Mapunapuna Street is flooding as well. So you got opposite ends of Mapunapuna. So we want to know from the waterway coming up from the storm drains all over Salt Lake, it filters down to Mapunapuna. If you guys can share with the community on February 12th.
So a great resource the city has is their GIS website. Just type in Honolulu GIS, and on there is a storm drain layer. It'll show you exactly where all the storm drain lines are. Show you where the sewer lines are and the storm drain lines. It'll show you where they connect, where they're not, and what goes into the canal, where those discharge points are. You can see it clear as day.
Yeah, I understand that, but we want to know is how does that affect and why does it, I can see closer to the ocean on the Kili House Street side, but now we're talking about Mokomoa Street by Coca-Cola is being flooded. So I want to know how does this play?
Yeah.
So if you could get that on February 12th, if somebody can answer that question.
That sounds good.
Doctor?
Aloha, Chair Yoms. Thank you for having me. Just for a few minutes tonight, I'd be happy to come back on February 12th. Aloha board members, and to my January warrior, I am the neighborhood board representative for the North Shore, all the way from Mokuleia to Kaholu'u on behalf of Mayor Blangiardi. Soidel is also our neighborhood board warrior for the North Shore. So it's really good to see you, my friend. Congratulations. And thank you all for definitely recognizing the work of the neighborhood commission office and the work that folks like Zoidel do late into the night to make sure people like Brian and I are reporting back to you comprehensively, which I definitely want to do. So maybe first, if I can just share a little bit about my role and my work with the city. So I'm Kealoha Fox. I serve as the Chief Resilience Officer for the island. And then I also serve as the Executive Director for the Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency directly in Mayor Blangiardi's office. I was just sworn in December. And so Chair Yomes, thank you for being one of the first opportunities. I think this was a little bit of a outstanding recommendation and request. And so I'm happy to be able to be here newly in my position. A few things that I just want to be able to highlight now, and then I can share more in detail later, is probably this five-pronged approach that I would look at it as. So first, we in the city have been doing this work throughout Mayor Blangiardi's administration. And so we've been working with federal agencies and state agencies, but especially between our agencies in the city and county. We know we have to coordinate, partner, and communicate much better. And so I'm really lucky to be able to work with folks like Brian at DPP, because we get along so well and we're able to accelerate some of these questions that you have, but I hope we're able to accelerate the solutions even faster. So we're conducting research with the latest facts and information. So Chair Yomes, I just wrote that down for the Salt Lake Waterway Pattern Understanding. I will ask one of our hydrologists. I believe it probably is, Brian, in some of the concept level designs that might have been in some of the options to see if the flood hazard for this particular waterway was mapped into those studies. I'll go ahead and make sure that we look at that. That's the kind of information that we do conduct, because we want to make sure that we're giving you facts and information that's the latest and it's updated. Because sometimes we're sending you stuff and it might be 10 years old. And that's not helpful anymore because things change, right? And so what we also need to do when we get those facts and information is we have to be able to identify alternatives and provide recommendations. Those recommendations need to look in the nearer term and talk about what we can do right now. But part of our work in the city is to also make sure that we're looking at the 25-year and the 100-year scenarios as well, so that we're planning for generations in the future, so that our keiki, like the scouts that are here, their descendants can continue to live in these neighborhoods that they call home. The third thing that we're doing is we constantly pound the pavement to pursue funding and grants. And I will say that my office and Brian's department has worked hand in hand for years with FEMA. And that funding resource, I have to say, is much, much different now than it was years ago. And so we're trying to come up with alternative solutions that frankly at the federal level just doesn't really exist anymore like it did a few years ago. And so we're contending with that and we're trying to pivot. The fourth thing that we do is definitely collaborate across our agencies with all of these projects and with the stakeholders and project leads. And then the fifth thing is we're educating, informing, and sharing information as frequently and often as possible with residents, with business owners, with students. Some of that includes the information that Brian had provided tonight in our newsletter. My team and Brian's team are coordinating next Thursday for the virtual open house for the flood maps that Brian had mentioned. And then we are conducting 2 in person, like he mentioned, 1 in Kaneohe and 1 in Aiea. And those will be opportunities for us to make sure that we're getting information out there. We send mailers to every single household that is a part of the new mapped areas that FEMA has updated, that Brian had said they're going to become real on January 10th or June 10th, 2026. And so we need to make sure now in January, we get ahead of that information, because we can't expect that in June, people will magically know all of this information. It's going to take about 6 months to tell thousands of households that they're now mapped into these new FEMA areas that they've identified for over 2 years of work and research that FEMA has been conducting. So those are just the 5 areas I wanted to highlight tonight. And like I said, Chair Yomes, with your permission, I'd be happy to come back in February and provide some more of the specifics, especially on the studies and the research, and then the 5 areas that we've been looking at for further consideration. Mahalo.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming out tonight. Is there any way the city can notify all the businesses in Mapunapuna? They have concerns to come to our February 12th meeting. I'm going to designate 1 hour to cover this topic and also notify the public. I'll be doing my communication with some of the businesses in Mapunapuna and also the public, but we need to get the public involved so all the questions be answered finally. This has been going on for years, and It's some of the businesses also got fined for this, and I don't think it's really their fault. You have to fix the sidewalks in front of them. There were businesses, and I don't think that's should be their responsibility. But we need to look at that closely. I have some more questions on February 12th, but I want to see what the city can do to notify the public. I can notify the media and let them know, but you guys have the megaphone that you guys can send out mailers to all the businesses and have them come out to the meeting on the 12th. And also tell the public that we're having a meeting and we're covering the Mapunapuna flood zone.
We'll make sure that we get various communication channels going.
Thank you so much for being here tonight, and I look forward to February 12th. You know, related to some of this also, I know that you're the Office of Climate Change, but you know, what I'm really concerned about is the emergency disaster preparedness portion of it. Because, you know, we don't know when the big 8-0 will affect us, right? You know, yeah, one of these days. So, you know, that's something that if you could maybe, you know, bring a few points on that too, to educate the public. Yeah, so we're working on that portion of it too this year. Yep.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Chair, we'll make sure that we connect with the Department of Emergency Management and we can share even further information that they have. And then they have the H&L alert system as well. So we can probably bring some leaflets and information to
Okay,
hand
that'll
out.
be great because, you know, because of the new realigning of where the disaster zone is, right, or the evacuation zone is, I think it's real critical that, you know, more and more people, you know, are aware of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a goal. I think our goal is we hope to see 250,000 enrolled in our H&L alert so that anybody can subscribe to make sure that they're getting this information directly from the Department of Emergency Management and the EOC right away. Yes.
Thank you for coming out. Appreciate it. Okay, moving on our agenda, approval of the minutes of November 13th meeting of 2025. Is there any additions or changes, board? Hearing none, it'll be submitted as is. Okay, moving on. So I don't know if you guys saw the agenda that had community team chairs for assignments and reports. Chair for the homeless committee will be Clarence Davis. Health Services Environment is Chandra Kanemaru. Transportation, Joseph Omura. Legislation, Construction is Nancy Valdez. Oahu Planning Organization, Metro Planning Organization, OMPO. And the Neighborhood Board System is James Gower. Senior Citizens, Kapunas is Patty Gawa. Schools, Parks and Recreation is Doug Fujikura. Community Board Meetings is Faye Johnson, and I have the Military and Public Safety. Board members, just really quickly, if you're the chair of a certain committee, and I know the last couple months we had the media asking for interviews and things like that, I just want to make it crystal clear that if you're the chair of one of these committees, by all means, if you wish to talk to the media about certain things that's under your purview as far as what you're assigned to as a chair, by all means, you have my blessing. Just let me know. And if not, anybody on this board can talk to the media as an individual, as a community member, but they can't speak on behalf of the board. Only the chair and the vice chair. The chair is not here, the vice chair speaks, if not the secretary. But I hope that clears up everything. As we go about this year, I'll be talking to each individual chair how we can better this community and what can we do within the community to make it a lot better and safer. So any questions later, just call me or send me an email and I will answer those questions. Announcements, our next Āliamanu-Salt Lake Foster Village Airport Neighborhood Board will be on February 12th, 6:30 p.m. at the same venue. This videotaped board meetings are aired on Olelo Channel 49 on the fourth Saturday of the month at 9 p.m. and the second and fourth Friday of the month at 7 a.m. They record all the board meetings, and you also can see this board meeting on YouTube, I believe. Is that correct? About 3 days after. So if you want to see what was said in the meetings or want to review the meetings, that's another opportunity. Okay, board, any other questions before I call this meeting to an end? Board, do you have any questions for this board before I end this meeting? Okay, thank you all for coming. This meeting is adjourned.